Hello students, in this video we will start with the chapter number 10, that is light, reflection and refraction. In this video we'll basically discuss about the introduction of light and the topic reflection of light. Then we will discuss about spherical mirrors and the formation of image using ray diagrams in both type of spherical mirrors. So let's start with the class. Now, as the chapter name light, so what basically the light is? Light is a form of energy that produces the sensation of sight. It is your light which enables us to see the things around you people. Suppose that you are sitting in a bright room, then everything will be visible to you. But if you will turn off the light, that means if the room is totally dark, then nothing will be visible to you. The reason is because at that time no light will be there. So it is basically the energy that produces the sensation of sight. When we talk about the nature of light, so nature of light will be dual. That means it will exhibit both the characteristics. It will exhibit wave nature also. It will exhibit particle nature of also. So because of that reason, we can say that light exhibits dual nature, and that is explained in the quantum theory of light. Next is the reflection of light. As you have already studied in your previous classes, that it is a phenomena of sending back of light rays after striking a smooth polished surface. That means whenever the light rays, they will strike a smooth polished surface, so those light rays will be sent back or they will be bounced back by the reflecting surface. So this complete phenomena is known as reflection of light. If I explain it using the ray diagram, so the ray of light which falls on the reflecting surface, so that ray of light is known as incident ray of light. The point at which the incident ray of light strikes the reflecting surface, that is the point of incidence. Here I have represented with letter O. Now the ray of light which is sent back by this reflecting surface or the bounced back light ray is known as reflected ray. At this point of incidence, if we draw a perpendicular to this reflecting surface, so that perpendicular is known as normal. Next is the angle between incident ray and normal is known as the angle of incidence. The angle between reflected ray and normal is known as the angle of reflection. So this figure, it represents the phenomena of reflection of light. Now we are having two laws of reflection also, as you have studied in your previous classes. First law of reflection, that is angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. That means the light ray, if it strikes this reflecting surface at some angle, so it will get reflected with the same angle. This is the first law of reflection. Second law of reflection states that incident ray, reflected ray and normal, they all will lie in the same plane. Next is, if we talk about the reflection, the types of reflection of light. So depending on the type of reflecting surface, we can classify reflection of light as regular reflection and diffuse reflection. If the reflecting surface is smooth, it is not having any irregularity, so such the reflection that takes place from a smooth surface, so this type of reflection is known as regular reflection. As you can see here, that the parallel rays of light, the parallel incident ray of light, when this strikes the plane surface, so they will get reflected parallelly. But if we talk about the diffuse reflection is a type of reflection that takes place from the surface which is having irregularity. That means if the reflecting surface is irregular, then the type of reflection will be diffuse reflection. As you can see here, that the parallel rays of light, they will get reflected at different angles, so they are no more parallel. So this was about the type of reflection. Next is plane mirror. The reflection of light, it takes place from mirror also. So two types of mirror here we'll discuss. One is your plane mirror that you have already studied, and second one is your spherical mirror. If we talk about plane mirror, so the mirror that you use at your home as a dressing mirror, that is an example of plane mirror. So what will be the characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror? The very first characteristic, that is the nature of image. The nature of image formed in a plane mirror is virtual and erect. Virtual means, virtual image are the images which are formed when the rays of light they actually meet. That means whenever the rays of light actually meet, at that time the nature of image will be real, and the virtual image, the rays of light, the image formed when the rays of light they are not actually meeting, it appears as if they are meeting. So the nature of image formed by a plane mirror will be virtual. Second one, it will be erect. If the image is formed above principal axis, or we can say if the image is straight, so we will call it as erect, otherwise it will be inverted. So the nature of image formed in a plane mirror will be virtual and erect. Size of image is equal to size of object. Suppose this is your plane mirror. If an object whose height is 5 cm is standing in front of a mirror, then the height of image will also be 5 cm. That is, in case of plane mirror, this object height and the image height will be same. Second one is object distance is equal to image distance. Object distance is the distance between object and mirror. Image distance is the distance between image and mirror. So let this distance, if it is 2 meter, so the distance between image and mirror will also be 2 meter. If you will move this object towards the mirror, then image will also move towards the mirror. That is, this object distance will always become equal to image distance. Next one, the image formed by a plane mirror is laterally inverted. So lateral inversion is basically the phenomena because of which the left side of object it appears to be the right side of image, and the right side of object it appears to be the left side of image. So such a phenomena is known as lateral inversion. So plane mirror shows the phenomena also. Next one is your spherical mirrors that we will discuss in this chapter in detail. Spherical mirrors are the mirrors whose reflecting surface is not plane, rather it is curved. Either it will be bent inwards or it will be bent outwards. So we can assume that spherical mirror are the mirrors which are assumed to be the part of a hollow sphere of glass. If you are having a hollow sphere of glass, so these spherical mirrors are assumed to be extracted from such hollow spheres of glass. Now, depending on the surface, spherical mirrors could be classified as concave mirror and convex mirror. Concave mirror is a mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inwards. For example, this is how you will represent concave mirror. If its reflecting surface is curved inwards or it is bent inwards, then it will be concave mirror. But if the reflecting surface is curved outwards or if it is bulged outwards like it is there in this case, so this will be your convex mirror. Next, if we talk about the nature, so concave mirror is converging in nature and convex mirror is diverging in nature. Converging means if the parallel rays of light strikes a concave mirror, so it will converge all those rays of light. It will converge those rays of light. But when the rays of light they will strike on a convex mirror, so they will extend them. It will extend them or it will diverge them. Next is terms related to spherical mirror. So here we will discuss about the terms that we will use in case of concave mirror as well as convex mirror. So we have assumed that these spherical mirrors they are extracted from the hollow sphere of glass. So if this is a hollow sphere of glass, if we extract it from this side, so it will be concave mirror. If here it is representing convex mirror. So the very first term is aperture. Aperture is basically the effective width of this mirror or the effective width of this reflecting surface from which the reflection of light actually takes place. So here this portion AB complete, it is representing the aperture. In case of concave mirror also, in case of convex mirror also. Next one is pole. Pole is the midpoint of this reflecting surface. Here AB is the reflecting surface, so P will represent its midpoint and here also. So P here represents pole. Next one is C, that is center of curvature. Center of curvature is the geometrical center of this hollow sphere of glass. So the C represents its center, and here it is known as center of curvature. Next is principal focus. We can say that principal focus is a point on this. Before that, let's discuss about principal axis. Principal axis is a straight line which passes through center of curvature and pole. So such a straight line is known as principal axis. Focus is a point on its principal axis at which all the parallel rays of light either converge or they will meet at the single point. As you can see here, that if the parallel rays of light after reflection, they will converge to meet at a single point in case of concave mirror. So here we can say that its focus is real because here the rays are actually meeting. But if we talk about the convex mirror, here the parallel rays of light, they are diverging, but they are diverging as if they all are meeting at this point. Actually they are not meeting, it appears as if they are meeting. So we can say that its focus will be virtual. Second thing, next is focal length. The distance between focus and pole will measure the distances from pole. So the distance between focus and pole represents the focal length. The distance between center of curvature and pole represents radius of curvature, or we can say that this radius of this hollow sphere of glass is known as radius of curvature. Focus can also be known as principal focus. That means if I am calling the name focus or principal focus, it is one and the same thing. Next, let's discuss about the image formation in concave mirror. But before that, we need to discuss few basic rules that we will use in the formation of image. The first rule, that if a ray of light is parallel to principal axis, so after reflection it will pass through focus. That means if a ray of light is parallel to principal axis, so after reflection it will pass through focus. Second rule, it states that if an incident ray of light strikes this reflecting surface after passing through focus, that means if a ray of light passes through focus, then after reflection it will become parallel to principal axis. Third rule, if a ray of light passes through center of curvature, then after reflection it will follow the same path. That if a ray of light has passed through center of curvature, then reflected ray will also pass through center of curvature. Fourth rule, that if a ray of light strikes this reflecting surface at an angle, so it will get reflected along the same angle. That is, if here angle I, so this is angle R, so according to this the angle I will be equal to angle R. Next is the image formation in concave mirror. We will discuss basically 6 different places where we will place your object, and depending on that we'll observe what will be the position of image, what will be the nature of image, and what will be the size of image. 6 different cases we will consider. First one, between pole and focus, then at focus, between focus and center of curvature, at center of curvature, beyond center of curvature, and finally at infinity. So these 6 cases we will discuss. So first case is when object is placed between pole and focus. So here I have placed the object between pole and focus. So how you will draw the ray diagram? According to the rules, one ray of light you will draw parallel to principal axis. Now according to rules, this ray of light will pass through focus. So whenever the ray of light is parallel, so after reflection it will pass through focus. Second thing, second ray of light will pass as if it is coming from center of curvature. If you will extend it, so you will find that it appears as if it is coming from center of curvature. So the reflected ray will follow this path and will pass from center of curvature. Then you will, this side, so these rays will never meet. Let me draw it again. So this side, this is center of curvature. This side the rays are diverging, that means they will never meet. Obviously in this side they will meet, so actually they are not meeting, but it appears as if they will meet somewhere behind this mirror. So at this point these two reflected rays are meeting, so at this point your image will be formed, that is I dash. Wherever the reflected rays of light will meet, either towards the front side of the mirror or towards the back side of the mirror, at that point image will be formed. Second thing, if the rays are actually meeting, so nature will be real, but here the rays are not actually meeting, hence the nature is virtual. One more thing, this is your principal axis. If image is formed above principal axis, so its nature will be erect. But if it will be formed below this principal axis, then its nature will be inverted. So here the nature of image is virtual and erect. If we talk about the position of image, so image is formed behind the mirror. Next one, about the size. The size of image in comparison to object is enlarged. So we can say that the size is enlarged or magnified. In the similar way, we can discuss it for second case, when object is placed at focus. So when you will place your object at focus, now here we have placed our object at focus, let it be OO dash. So as we have drawn here, the same steps will follow here also. One ray of light, one incident ray of light will draw parallel to principal axis as I have drawn it here. So after reflection it will pass through focus. Second ray of light, it is striking on this reflecting surface as it is coming from center of curvature. So this is the incident ray of light. So after reflection it will follow the same path and it will pass through center of curvature. Now these two rays of light, they are parallel. In ray diagrams, these parallel rays of light, they indicate the position of infinity. If the incident rays are parallel, so they will indicate that object is placed at infinity. But if the reflected rays are parallel, so it will indicate that the image of object will be formed at infinity. So in this case, the position of image will be infinity. Second thing, at infinity, the rays will actually meet. So if the rays are actually meeting, so its nature will be real. Now if we assume that somewhere on this side these rays will meet, so obviously they will meet in this direction. That is, the image will be formed below this principal axis. So here nature will be inverted, and as the rays are actually meeting, so it will be real. When we talk about the size, in comparison to object, the size of image will be highly enlarged. Next is when object is placed between focus and center of curvature. So here I have placed the object OO dash between focus and center of curvature. So the steps will follow the same. That is, the parallel ray of light after reflection will pass through focus, and the second ray of light will strike to this reflecting surface as it is coming from center of curvature. So after reflection it will follow the same path as I have already stated, that the point where the two reflected rays will meet, at that point image will be formed. So these rays are meeting at this point, so obviously the image that will be formed at this point. In comparison to object, the size of image is enlarged. The position of image is formed beyond C. So its position will be beyond C, and nature is real and inverted as the rays are actually meeting, so real, and our image is formed below the principal axis, so inverted. Next case, when the object is placed at center of curvature. When we will place your object at center of curvature, so the first step will remain same. One ray of light will be parallel to principal axis, so after reflection it will pass through focus. Second ray of light we cannot pass as it is coming from center of curvature. So here we'll apply the another rule, that the ray of light is passing through focus. So after reflection it will become parallel to principal axis. So again at this point, this reflected ray and this reflected ray, they are meeting. So at this point image will be formed. As you can see that the image is formed at center of curvature, and the size of image and object are also same. So nature will be real and inverted, position will be at center of curvature, and size will be same.
Papa.
Next is when object is placed beyond center of curvature. So here we have placed the object beyond center of curvature. So one ray of light is parallel to principal axis. After reflection it will pass through focus. Second ray of light is passing through center of curvature. So as we all know that it will follow the same path and will again pass through center of curvature. Now here the reflected ray, one coming from focus and the other from going towards the center of curvature, they will meet at this point. So here it is the image. So here the image is found between focus and center of curvature. The size of image in comparison to object is smaller. So we can say that it is diminished, and nature is of course real and inverted. Last case, when object is placed at infinity. So as I've already stated that position of infinity we cannot show. So we will show it with the help of parallel rays of light. So these parallel rays of light, they are indicating that they are coming from an object which is kept at infinity. So these rays of light after reflection, as they are parallel to principal axis, so after reflection they will meet at focus. So image will be formed at focus. In comparison to object, the size of image is highly diminished because we cannot visualize that here in this ray diagram. So nature is real and inverted. Position will be at focus and size will be highly diminished. Next we'll start with the formation of image in case of convex mirrors. Again we'll follow few rules. So the rules are same, only the few things are changed here. When a ray of light is parallel to principal axis, so it will diverge as if it is coming from focus. Second rule, if a ray of light is striking this reflecting surface at as if it will pass through focus, but actually it is not passing, so it will get reflected parallel to principal axis. That means when a ray of light strikes this reflecting surface as if it is passing through focus, so after reflection it will become parallel to principal axis. Third rule, if a ray of light is striking this reflecting surface as if it will pass through center of curvature, so after reflection it will follow the same path. And last rule, that when a ray of light strikes this reflecting surface at an angle, so it will get reflected with the same angle, that is angle I is equals to angle R. Next is in case of image formation in convex mirror, we will discuss only two positions. That is one, where the object is placed between pole and infinity, and the second case when object is placed at infinity. So if we talk about the first case, that when object is placed between pole and infinity, so let us suppose that we have placed our object at this point, so we'll follow the same methods. One ray of light will be parallel to principal axis. After reflection it will diverge as if it is passing through focus. Second ray of light we are striking on this reflecting surface as if it is passing through center of curvature. So obviously after reflection it will follow the same path. Now here the rays are not actually meeting. It appears as if they are meeting. So that is shown with the help of dotted lines here. So these dotted lines are indicating that rays are not actually meeting. So at this point these rays are meeting. So at this point image will be formed. As you can compare the size of image in comparison to object size is small. So we can say that the size of image is diminished. Position is between pole and focus, and nature is virtual and erect as the rays are not actually meeting. Second, when object is placed at infinity, I have shown it with the help of parallel rays of light that object is at infinity and rays are coming from an object which is at infinity. So the parallel rays of light after reflection will pass as if they are coming from focus. So they appear to meet at focus. So obviously the image will be formed at focus. In comparison to the object size, we cannot visualize the image size here. So here its size will be highly diminished and nature is virtual and erect. About this we have discussed in our first part, that is reflection of light. About sign conventions for mirror, mirror formula and numericals we'll discuss in our second part of the same chapter. Thank you.